please accept our apologies. We've let you down, but a few of us, we are going to fix this nation before we go and meet our creator. I say, oh my God. Guy Fafa. Guy. You know, I had to do a lot of research to confirm that it's indeed true. Even I went, Nation, that story. I say sometimes it's fake news. I did a lot of research, Jed, only to confirm my worst fears. Jed
says it's his own money.
Let him build on his land. He has so much land in Sugoi, in Taita, I don't know, now even in Narok, I don't know, Transmara, he has so much land. Let him build churches there, and we have no bloody, we don't care. You know, because the Bible says, Jed, that where two are gathered,
yes,
like me and you,
yes,
and we start having a small little wine,
yes,
that's even a church.
Yeah.
So next time I get into settle, I may decide.
I'm not in agreement with you on that.
You could even see she was struggling to go through. She was really struggling. You know, you can see. When a document is yours, you can see. Because it flows. But when a document is borrowed, when you borrow somebody's underwear, you feel uncomfortable putting it on. But when it is yours, you are comfortable putting it because you know it's clean, correct?
Yes.
But when it's not yours, you are a bit uneasy. If you cannot survive in this environment of digital democracy, hammer Kenya, or shoot yourself. Go and meet the creator. Because you cannot survive, Jed. This country belongs to the youth. What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not Sugoi. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
Great to see you. Welcome to Philip Kisia Unscripted this particular Saturday. I'm glad that you join us every single week for these conversations to help build policy and politics here in Kenya. A lot has happened over the past 1 week, and a lot is bound to happen next week where we celebrate or commemorate the SABASABA protests that happened in this country. Kenya is still unsettled. The president is still unresolved. Kenyans are still saying WANTAM. We saw the likes of the opposition leader like Rigathi Gachagua, Natembea. They were all in Western Kenya this week. That will be my conversation with Philip Kisia. What are we looking forward to? Will we stay in this unsettledness till 2027? Great to see you. How are you doing? It's another end of week.
Well, Jed, is a very cold morning. I hope you've come with Ugenya Leave It. Ugenya Leave It.
Ugenya Leave It. What has been the week for you, even before we talk about your reflections?
Well, we, of course, ended on a very low note. You know, Ojwang was buried. We are ending the sad week, the dark week of June 25th. So we ended on a low. But I'm sure, you know, Kenyans are very resilient, and we shall recover very, very soon. In fact, we are recovered, and we are ready to face Kasongo. Mundo Humundo.
You said it's Western.
Western has said it's WANTAM. Western.
All right. What are your reflections for this week?
Well, before this morning, my wife was playing gospel music, and I thought it was very encouraging. Nani kama wewe? Nani kama wewe? Nani kama wewe Mungu? Kuinua Mungu wewe. Heshima na utukufu Baba. Not our Baba, the big Baba. Nguvu ni Baba, not our Baba, the one above. Amina milele. Because of copyrights, we will not play, but it's a beautiful song. I think as you start your week, please listen to it. It's a wonderful gospel song. Then I also came across this quote by Mrs. Roosevelt, who lived in the year 1884 to 1962. I think even your parents were not born.
Not yet.
Yeah, she was an activist and the first lady at that time. And she did say, Jed, she said that sometimes it is better to light even one candle, right? than to cast the darkness. So Kenyans, feel encouraged. Light that one candle. Let us stop casting darkness. Because this regime is operating in total darkness, and they want to make every effort to stop Kenyans from lighting candles. So light that one candle so that we can chase this regime, we can chase them, we can send them away in broad daylight. Light that candle. Stop casting the darkness. Now, my reflections, Jed, I have 2 quick ones. And I want you to, as I was reflecting, I came across this video. You are again not born, and I don't blame you, because this is your time. God had purpose that you be born at this particular time. Look for that video on Idi Amin Dada. He was the president of Uganda, a dictator, like the ones we currently have.
Yes.
Idi Amin Dada, a terror, a tyrant. And then look for that one, the Prime Minister, a British Prime Minister, jumping out of a train. I don't know if they've come across it, but play those 2 videos in succession.
All right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me
That's Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister of the UK, actually alighting from a train in the UK. And you've seen the house where Idi Amin lived.
You've seen the house. It's a bunker. It's not even it's a mansion. You can imagine that house built in the 70s. Huge. And most probably through taxpayers' money. Huge mansion. Look at the state that it is in today. Yeah? Not human beings can even, not even animals, not even rodents. Even rodents have run away from that mansion. They've taken off. Can you imagine? A shadow of what it was. Not even a shadow. It's a ghost of what it was. And then you just ask yourself many, many questions. And then I drew a parallel with the one for Boris Johnson, a former prime minister of one of the most powerful nations on earth. Prime minister, not a president of a poor country like Kenya. Poor. Masikini. Okay? Look at the way Amin was living. People living, Africans, in abject poverty. With the torn clothes. Standing under trees. But look at the way Idi Amin was living at that time. In vanity. In opulence. Then just look at the way this man, a former prime minister, commuting in a public train, carrying his own luggage, like an ordinary citizen, no security, nothing. But he was a prime minister of one of the most powerful nations on earth. Then I asked my question, and I asked myself many questions yet. As I was reflecting, I asked myself, who cast Africa? Who cast Africans? Oh, Africa. Oh, Africa. Why do we live in opulence, yet we are so poor? Our children don't have medicine.
Yeah.
Our roads are full of potholes.
Yeah.
But we want to live in opulence. Are those things that we have a priority? Can't we invest in things that can grow an economy, in things that can grow a nation, like education? Educating our doctors, paying our doctors well, paying our policemen well, taking care of our people. Jed, I ask myself, who cast Africa? Who cast Africans? What level of stupidity is this, Jed? And why? Why? Can we blame God or we can blame, do we blame ourselves? Do we blame the colonial master who left this problem behind? Who are we to blame, Jed? Why do we have so many misplaced priorities that do not grow an economy, that don't improve the quality of life of people? And you believe, because an African believes that when you're okay, when you're putting on a belt of 1 million shillings and putting on shoes of $5,000, that is progress. That is not progress, Jed. That is stupidity of the highest level. You cannot live in opulence and your people are living in abject poverty. Umasikini wa ajabu. I mean, Jed, what can you call that? It's foolishness, isn't it?
Yeah.
But here we are. Those are the people that we have in our nation. So, Jed, what I'm saying to you, Gen Z, my children, millennials, my children, I'm saying, Jed, that we must learn to invest in sound leadership. We must learn to invest in proper and sound governance. That is where our hope lies. Not electing people because they come from their tribe. Not electing people because they have given you 500 shillings or 200 shillings or 100 shillings. Invest in leaders who will actually leave a mark, who will deliver the desired change that you can believe in, change that can work for the future. So the future of this nation, Jed, called Kenya, is in the hands of you people. It is not in our hands. We are on the 6th floor. We are just waiting for the day the Torumbeta would be played and we shall be exiting the stage. So you must fight and continue fighting, Jed. Don't give these people a chance. Don't give up. Don't give up. You have an opportunity to make sure that together with a few of us who can live and develop sound policies, who believe in building institutions, work with you, because we want to bequeath you, the millennials, Gen Zs and Alpha, a better nation. And I want to apologize on behalf of William Ruto and ourselves, because we've messed you people. We've messed these generations, the 3 generations. We are a total mess. The silent generation, the boomers, the bure kabisa, useless characters. But we must take responsibility. And on their behalf, Jed, and to all our children, Alpha, Gen Z, and millennials, please accept our apologies. We've let you down, but a few of us, we are going to fix this nation before we go and meet our Creator. The second reflection, Jed. You know, when I saw that thing on social media, that the president wants to build a sanctuary, a kanisa, a big one, for 1.2 billion in State House, I said, oh my God, Guy Fafa. I had to do a lot of research to confirm that it's indeed true. Even I went, Nation, that story. I said sometimes it's fake news. I did a lot of research, Jed, only to confirm my worst fears that indeed William Ruto has intentions of building what is calling a church, not on his land, but on public land in State House. So, Jed, you saw my tweet. I'm sure you did see my tweet. I've asked the president, this is public land. You are just a temporary occupant. Why can't you live like a temporary occupant? You want to build mansions. You want to spend billions of shillings. You will not live there forever. You are a temporary occupant, for heaven's sake. This is not your personal property. Don't treat it like personal property. And even dismissing people saying that I will build.
Yes.
I'm going to build churches.
It's his own money.
Build on your land, Jed.
Says it's his own money.
Let him build on his land. He has so much land in Sugoi, in Taita. I don't know, now even in Narok, I don't know, Transmara. He has so much land. Let him build churches there, and we have no bloody, we don't care. But when you build on public land, Jed, I don't know what to call that. It's stupidity again. What can I call it?
He says,
what can I call it?
let me just say what he said.
What can I call it?
Alipata kanisa ya mabati.
So
the church is building is not worth State House.
Listen, we don't need a church in State House. Supposing tomorrow, because he's a temporary occupant. Supposing tomorrow, Jed, we have a Hindu. Then he says, I also want a temple. A big one, like the one Ruto has built. But I'm going to use my own money. And you know, India has money. Hii yake ni pesa juzi tu, ya youth, KANU. Hii yake na hii nyingine hii. Sitaki kusema pale imetoka. Hii pesa, hii. Indians have money. So they'll build a temple 10 times the size of that one because they have money on public land. Then Muslims will come. And Muslims have money, my friend. Then they will say, let us build a mosque. My friend. But you see, you know, some of these things are really deeply troubling. When you see a president behaving the way Ruto is behaving, you know, you really ask yourself so many questions. What is in between the 2 years? What is in between these 2 years? That somebody does not respect the Constitution. But Jed, as I said, when I was this morning, when I was reflecting, and I came across an article that has been penned by somebody called Hari Karanja. And Hari Karanja has raised 10 points, 10 fundamental points. Allow me to go through them very quickly. Establishment of, you know, that the president is actually in conflict with the following sections of the Constitution.
Okay.
Establishment of a religion violates Article 8. That, you know, building that thing violates Article 8. Rights to equal, that's second one. Rights to equal and non-discrimination, Article 2732. Public misuse, Article 62, subsection 2. Improper use of office under leadership and integrity. Because they're using, because the president will say, I will build. Mutadu, I'll just build. Integrity, leadership and integrity. Okay? Then the PPA, DA, that deals with procurement of 2015, section 91 to 94. Okay? Then, you know, public finance, because that's a public asset. You're actually defiling that a part of the Constitution. Land use, physical planning. Who has approved it? You can't just start building. It's not your land. Go and build in Sogoi or in this Transmara place that you have, tracts of land. Have you done an environmental impact assessment? Have you done? You're just building that even in your own. You know, have we done it? And finally, it's actually an economic crime because the benefits are accruing to him. He's saying, I'm building this church because I'm a Christian, because, you know, mimi nitajenga makanisa, hata mulie. The benefits are not to us. The satisfaction is to him as a person, as an individual. What about Muslims? What about Hindu? What about Buddhists? And other people who don't even believe in anything? What are they going to do? So what about somebody like me who believes that even, you know, because the Bible says, Jed, that where two are gathered,
Yes.
like me and you,
Yes.
and we start having a small little wine,
Yes.
that's even a church.
Yeah.
So next time I get into settle, I may decide.
I'm not in agreement with
I'm
you on
telling
that.
you, you know, who said that we cannot
Commune.
You know, when
Fellowship.
we cannot fellowship over a glass of something. Who said? So, you know, these are serious matters, Jed. And there's need for this man to stop treating public assets as personal assets. Ashindwe na ashindwe zaidi, and shame on this man. He has no shame. Let us
look at your
my
highlights.
Jed. Let's look at my highlights, Jed.
Yeah.
And there are two.
And we will fellowship
And they're
after
quick.
this. We will
Yeah, we shall fellowship after this.
Okay.
But with Ogenya, leave it.
Ogenya, leave it.
Ogenya, leave it.
Okay. Your highlights.
You see, quickly, Jed, I want you to look at look for that the video, the Western tour.
Yeah.
Western tour. And you know, just look for that video, and then look for the video of Boni Khalwale, my friend Boni Khalwale. There are two.
Yeah.
They're interlinked.
All right.
Boni Khalwale, senator, bullfighter. and then the Western tour, play them together.
A party cannot win an election using a party that has been killed by Malala and Gachagua here in Kakamega. Ama nyinyi watu miti hamjui. Hata ofisi ya UDA iko wapi hapa Kakamega? Iko wapi Bungoma? Iko wapi Vihiga? Iko wapi Busia? Iko wapi Chitale? So how do you win?
We're saying Boni Khalwale, talking about UDA, saying the UDA is dead, and then the Western tour, numbers, welcoming the opposition.
Jed, if you have eyes, you saw. If you have ears, you heard what people have said. Western have said is WANTAM. And Boni Khalwale is right. I'm being becoming a Kikuyu light.
Yeah.
Boni Khalwale is asking, this thing is dead. It's dead like a dog. It's dead, it's finished. UDA, UDA, like Musalia said once. Okay? He's asking, if these people don't have even an office in Kakamega, they don't have it in Pungoma.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Kitale, nothing. Pusia, nothing. Eh?
Yeah.
Trans Nzoia, nothing. Now, let me tell you, Jed. Kakamega and Vihiga, those are the counties from Western that give direction. They give direction. When you want to know which direction Western is headed to, you listen to the ground in Kakamega
And
Vihiga. Okay?
Yeah.
When you want to know that the Luya community has made up their mind, yeah, and there's a shift, there's a radical shift in things, you listen to the ground in Pungoma and Trans Nzoia. Because when those guys say to me, Kata, Tawe is Tawe, finished, you can't change them. They are my in-laws, I know them. Now, when you want to affirm that these people are not confused, that Western is not confused, you get affirmation from Busia. Okay? So, direction, shift,
confirmation.
affirmation. That was done by Western, by this tour that was made by the opposition. And you can see the excitement of people in Pungoma and Trans Nzoia. There's excitement, despite the fact there were some hired goons who were paid to disrupt the meetings. But you can see the excitement. People came out in thousands of numbers, excited, and those who are not paid to come out. And then Pusia, concluded the issue. But if you ever doubted that there's a change in Western, that there's a shift, because Boni Khalwale is a senior member, in fact, a founder of UDA. And if you're saying they're finished indeed. Who else would have said it better? But there are more fundamental issues that were raised during this trip that we must take note of, cognizance of. Number one, Westerners say they don't want opaqueness. They don't, people who are opaque, they just come there and say, Sisi dancing and forcing our leaders to dance on the stage. No, they don't want this stupid nonsense that are opaque in nature. They are saying they want real development. They are saying they want to be on that table. They want their rightful share. They are shareholders of this country. And they are saying we must get our share, fair share. And we're not going to go through a third party. Umasikini, they are saying, Tawe. Poverty, we don't want poverty. We are not going to be cooks. We are no longer going to be watchmen. And if we must be, then we must be paid properly. They have also said that this transactional loyalty, the people who are saying we are in government, is just, they're just transacting. Loyalty of transaction. It is benefiting those few, and you know them. Ati wakishiba tumeshiba. Wakilala vizuri tumela vizuri. Western has said, listen, we are no longer going to listen to you. But finally, and most important, Jed,
yes,
they have said that they are not going to be, no more patronage. That you're coming there and say, oh, no. Here you can completely forget. So, in short, Jed, what people have said, Western is going. Finally, Jed.
yes,
I don't know if they read The Economist. I read the one, at least a story on Kenya,
yes,
dated 4th of July. And I really felt sorry for Kenya. By the time Muzungu is writing bad things about you, did you read it?
yeah.
Have you read the article?
Yes.
What was the title?
Ruto is taking Kenya
In a wrong direction.
wrong direction.
True or false? Was it Philip Kisia writing the article? Because when we speak, they get annoyed. But now let them get annoyed with those Muzungus who are writing. But they are writing the truth. They have said, the writer has said, Kenya was once a beacon of hope. If you wanted prosperity, if you wanted to invest, Kenya was a place to invest. And you are guaranteed of security. You are guaranteed of your returns. But what this man is saying, the current situation in Kenya is deeply troubling. That you are not sure of whether your investments are safe, you are not sure of returns, and he's basically discouraging investors from coming to this country. Because he's saying you are not safe. Go there at your own peril. Go there knowing that things can go south anytime. And he's blaming one man called William Samoei Ruto. In conclusion, the man has said that the situation is so deeply unstable. The country is so unstable that you go there at your own risk. That was not a very good story.
Yeah.
It was penned down on 4th of July, which is just the other day. So, Jed, those are my two reflections.
In that,
and my two reflections, highlights for the week.
things are bad.
They are terrible, Jed.
I want us to talk about the disappearance and appearance of Diangui Kinyangia. And the guy was missing, DCI ordered to present him, and then he just appears, says he was in hiding for 10 days. He's a little bit shaved. No one knows whether his story is actually true or he has been coerced to say what he said. SABASABA is coming on Monday, a day significantly known for pro-democracy, and Kenyans have said they will go to the streets. Esther Passaris has come out saying there is this bill that she's taken to Parliament, and she wants people to protest 500 meters from, State House, Parliament, all these government institutions. And I want to know, Kisia, what do you make of all this situation and what is happening in the country? And how can we, in this Diangui Kinyangia case, how can we, strengthen freedom of expression and shield whistleblowers and digital activism from harassment? Because the guy looked scared. Alikuwa amenyolewa vibaya pia.
Jed, let's first of all put this thing into context. But before I say that, look, there's a young man, a Gen Z, who is looking horrified. He's yet to tell us his story.
Yes.
Because the ones who have been found, who were abducted, most of them are now dead. Most of them. And others have completely disappeared. Despite the fact that the president said that they have been found and handed back to their family, it was a lie. So this boy, if you look at him carefully, I'm a parent of many children. The young man looks terrified and confused. So I would want him to be given time. And I'm hoping that the family will really take care of this young man during this time. And I'm hoping that the DCI will not harass him. Okay? We want this boy to tell us his story. We want him to be represented by advocates. And the advocates of this country, most of them are doing a phenomenal job.
Yes.
Wonderful job. Young lawyers who have come out and they're saying, you know what, this is our country. And by the way, I've spoken to a number of them. They are doing these things on pro bono. When they hear there's a JNC who has been arrested, I know Kirinyaga, they rush there, about 30 of them. All of them.
Pro bono.
Pro bono. This is the Kenya that we want. So, and then on the other side, you have the likes of Pasari. I don't want to say too much on it because I'll talk about it a bit later. But you see, SABASABA, let's first of all talk about SABASABA, Jed. SABASABA, we must remember people like Rubia, Martin Shikuku, Matiba, Geto, and many others, and even Raila, the people who fought for the second liberation. Okay? That was way back in 1990. You are not even in the mix. 1990. Okay? So SABASABA was basically demanding for change, demanding for free and fair elections, demanding for an accountable government, okay? And fighting to remove something that was called Section 2A, that eventually this Moi, Mzee Moi, and God rest his soul in eternal peace, he eventually agreed through people power. People forced Arap Moi to concede, and we deleted Section 2A, and we allowed multi-party democracy to start this country.
Yeah.
People like Ruto were not there. People like Ruto were part of this single-party system. That's why his mentality is still stuck in one-party system. That's why he wants to, to ensure, to crush all other parties, and it is not possible. I must teach him one thing. He's living the past. The world order changes so fast. Those of you or those of us who have done something called environmental turbulence and response to change, they're so turbulent and the changes are so fast and rapid. So William Ruto cannot use the tactics and strategies that were applied in the early 90s. Now, nyinyi hamjui your story. He must use new strategies. And because he has no capacity to appreciate, to apply the new strategies, he must deploy, he must get people who are serious like you and the rest, and my sons, and serious people to help him to govern.
So his people are not doing anything?
They are not. The man is doing everything alone. He's everything. He's Mkulima number one, he's father, he's everything. He's bishop number one, he's everything. In fact, Bishop Sapiti was asking that day, okay, you're building that sanctuary. Are you going to be the bishop? But let's not
stick to the
let's stick to the topic. You see, and then of course, in that struggle, because you talked about Esther Passaris.
Yes.
I must say, there are people like Wangari Maathai. There are people like Martha Karua. There are people like Phoebe Asio. Women of valor, focused, visionary. Women who were there to fight for women's rights. Women who were there, not for tokenism. They were not bootlickers. Women who were in parliament and they knew why they were there. But again, if you look at the quality of women we had in parliament that time, they were well-schooled, brought up very well. That combination is lethal. Wangari Maathai, professor. Nani, an advocate, Martha Karua. Asio, an educationist. Serious women, our mothers. Okay? So if you combine that with their resolve to change this country during that time, you can see what they produced. But now when you look at the ones, most of the ones, I can say there are some who are very brilliant up to now. Because me, Jed, I fight for women's rights. I fight for children. Okay? Because I was brought up by a mother, single parent. So when I get an opportunity, I fight for them. But at the same time, these women who are now in position of power, our mothers fought for you. You are duty bound to start fighting for your children. But these people, most of them are there for tokenism. You heard the other day, another one saying, I don't want to mention her name, but one was saying, I love this man. I love this man. Would Wangari Maathai have said that? Would Karua have said that? Would Asio say that?
No.
I love this man. I love this man. I love this man. Even if you love the man, say it quietly. Why are you saying so loudly? to embarrass even your spouses and partners. And then another one
Yeah.
gets a presidential pinch, and she smiles like a little baby. Smiles like, even my Ivana will not do such nonsense. My Ivana would slap me if I started giving a daddy pinch in public. She would not, she would take it offense. And then, of course, there's another one. I don't mention her name, but she actually confirmed that this government, the things that are happening there, the demands
Yes.
for horizontal engineering,
Yes.
are unparalleled. So, you see, what we really need, Jed, to talk
Yes.
about, as we dive into the questions that we have today,
Yes.
the issue of building strong, sound institutions, sound policies, the issues of making sure that our youth are not affected negatively, like this Kinyangui.
And Diangui Kinyagia.
Yeah, Kinyangia. That the likes of Ojuang, the likes of Brex Masai, that our children don't just perish when they're supposed to be there to build this nation. Because William Ruto and ourselves, we should, whether we like it or not, Jed,
Yeah.
ile miaka imebaki kwa hii dunia ni kidogo, ile miaka tumemaza ni mingi. William has done about 60. I've done 60 plus. So the years that we have ahead of us are very few. Please spare our children. Let's build this nation. Let us do, and for the youth of this nation, both gender, girls and boys. This is your country. Dedan Kimathi was there, he fought for you. Martin Shikuku was there, he fought for you. Matiba Rubia was there, fought for you. And the women that are mentioned fought for this nation. Do not allow this nation to collapse. It is your country.
I was talking to you about Kenyagia's case, and a lot of people are going to post a lot of posters online telling people to turn up for SABASABA, and then these digital activists are being arrested, are being harassed. For us to end this story, what do you think should be done by our institutions so that the likes of Ndiangui can actually post and know that they will sleep safe at their homes?
Jed, I think we've talked about some of these things before.
Yeah.
But probably there's no harm in talking about them again and again until it reaches the ears of those in power. We've talked about strengthening the judicial independence and oversight. And I'm happy. You saw Chacha Mwita.
Yes.
Justice Chacha Mwita. And
Yes.
the president said that he was behaving like an activist. No, he was following the law. When one Kenyan disappears, like an MP was shot, dead, and you saw how the machinery was put in place, and within 48 hours, we had a report and people had been arrested. The life of one Kenyan is so important. So we are saying that the judiciary must remain independent. We must fund it, proper funding, not tokenism, not, if you don't do it, I'll withdraw funding. This is hapana hiyo pesa mama yako, that you can hold it at your whims. No, these are public funds. So we need, it is there in the, I don't know, but is there in an act of parliament? A percentage of X collection must go to the judiciary so that they can sort out themselves, so they can reform the judiciary, they can employ more people so that justice is dispensed fairly and on time. So there are those judicial reforms and strengthening of the reforms and oversight bodies like IPOA. And I say this power thing I don't like. I don't like this power thing because
poor part.
this power part is a bad one.
We are not poor.
Not power. Of course, the other thing, human rights bodies.
Yes.
Kenya Human Rights Commission, they've done a fantastic job. We need more of such. They need to be funded again, so that they can continue oversighting and making sure that civil rights are protected. And there are no excesses by the regimes that come in, because these commissions are supposed to be independent. But I must congratulate Kenya Human Rights Commission for the job that they've done over years. They're doing a fantastic. The other thing, Jed, and I think we've talked about it again, is how do we enact laws that can protect whistleblowers? Because Kenyans have information, but they're not sure that if they went and reported and shared that information, that they are safe. How can we protect these people? Not just on paper, but how can we make sure that there are institutions which insulate whistleblowers? Okay?
Yeah.
And protect whistleblowers. Protect them, protect their families. That is the job of government.
Yeah.
That's a job of any law. The last one
Yeah.
is, this government came in on the platform of digital. Digital. Yeah, digital. How can we protect that digital space? Because we are in the digital era. Our children are digital. Yeah? But you are criminalizing the digital space. They are using it. But because you are living in the past, you are living in the past, in the Kano regime,
Yes.
Oko, you want to criminalize the same space you're talking about. They are digital. Digital is not just about buying a laptop. Some of them buy laptops for 1 million. This Kenya Kwanza government, 1 billion. That's what they call digital. And in the cabinet, you see them holding laptops, 1 million. That's not digital. This space must be open up. There must be laws to govern it. There must be laws that are not retrogressive. That we must remove draconian laws like the ones they're trying to create. So those are some of the things that I would suggest that can be done so that we build a better nation.
What is your expectation for the police? You've had the orders from CS Murkomen, shoot to kill. If they come towards your police stations, just shoot them. These weapons are not toys. And how can we, not undermine public trust, as government, so that, people can protest because it's their constitutional mandate, or they have their constitutional power to protest?
That boy is a disgrace. And I saw something just the other day. I was listening to this revival. There's a church in Eldoret. This bishop, I think it was Nyango, and you're saying this Mrukumen boy, who's my age mate. The other day, alikuwa amevaa troll mechanika kidogo. Just the other day, cooperative bank, they would meet there, and he was humble. But now that he has gone into power has gone into his head. Yeah, money has gone into his head. He has forgotten where he came from. How do you give illegal orders that anybody coming around a police station should be shot dead? So, I'm happy that the Law Society of Kenya and other progressive forces have taken the matter and they're in court. And I'm hoping that this man will be prosecuted, taken to court. In a decent society, this man should have resigned. But you ask me a question: how do you balance security issues vis-a-vis peaceful assembly? It's not a delicate balance, Jed. Why do you think it's a delicate balance? If we invested in training of the police, like progressive countries have done in America, in Europe, they have peaceful assemblies. And peaceful assemblies are guaranteed by the Constitution. And you see, when you have a peaceful... There was a time I was being invited by the Republic, government of the Republic of Germany. And they issue a notice in advance. Say, on this date, we shall peacefully demonstrate. And do you know what happens? It happens. They say from this time to this time, and with placards, and so you must expect that when we have a peaceful demonstration, an assembly, there will be some discomfort. There'll be some discomfort. Traffic will be affected, business will be affected, but those are civil rights that people must enjoy in a civilized nation. There's no way you can run away from them. So if we intend to be like Singapore, if we intend to be like Europe, like America, those are some of the things that we must start embracing. Okay? So training on, moving from force to community policing strategies, working with the communities. Yeah? Then the other thing we saw even in Meru the other day, and we talked about it, said, dialogue. Those are human beings. Just that you are a police officer or you're a cabinet minister, and maybe I'm a hustler. Okay? But at the end of the day, we're human beings. We're Kenyans at the end of the day. So why can't we encourage dialogue? And we saw it within Meru. That man just, froze the entire you know,
Yeah.
he froze them.
He disarmed them
He
because
disarmed everybody. I mean, he froze them. How? Just dialogue. He said, okay, in fact, I'll join you. In fact, I'll lead the protest. I'll be with you. I'm a Kenyan. 20. In fact, we know we are not yet done. So if these people can learn to dialogue and forget to behave like dictators, like Idi Amin and the rest of dictators we've had in Africa, and know that they are dealing in an environment that's very delicate, that these young people, Gen Z, millennials, and alphas, will not take their BS. And it doesn't matter what they do, Jed. They must invest in dialoguing with these people. They must invest in understanding these young people. And just understand them. And you know, because I have many, I take time to understand them. I take time to discuss. And I can tell you, somehow we know normally, most of the times, we come to an amicable agreement. Most of the times. One or times, of course, they go offline. But that is it. It's part of growing. But when you think you can replace force with dialogue, who are going to lose? They will lose. You know, this SABASABA thing started in 1990. There were less than 10,000 people in the streets. They forced Arap Moi to change. Now we have millions of jobless Kenyans. They will definitely force William Ruto to change. He will change whether he likes it or not, Jed. He must change. The final one on that score, Jed, is about taking responsibility and being held to account.
No.
Things are happening. People are being brutally murdered. Not even people, young people. Have you seen people being held accountable? Have you seen police being jailed? How many have been jailed? How many have been arraigned in court? Have we seen the IG saying, you know what? I may not have been done directly, but these people fall under my command. I therefore tender my resignation. That is now taking being accountable. Saying, you know, I may not have done it, but I'm responsible. Those are the things that we need to encourage. And encourage because Kenya is not living in a vacuum. We claim to be living in a civilized society. So let us be civil in how we govern the nation.
when you look at this Esther Passari's legislation to restrict protesters within 500 meters from key government buildings, I want to know what public engagement should guide such proposals, or even if we talk about legal checks, should this just sail through without public approval, or parliament is enough? They decide Passaris is right. It doesn't matter what the constitution said earlier. We're just going to change it because we are parliament.
Jed, is an embarrassment to even talk about this. And I don't talk about Esther Passaris. It was an embarrassment. You know, before I told you, there were women in parliament, respectable women, valor. Esther Passaris is on the 6th floor. So let's not make an issue. Because she can't be an issue.
So these proposals,
Let's
parliament...
you see, what we need to understand and appreciate, Jed, that you cannot replace violence, force, intimidation with the rule of law. Okay? So what we need to look at is the legal framework, but remembering that we are under public scrutiny. Okay? So the proposals that Esther Passaris has made, which may not be hers, because you could even see she was struggling to go through. She was really struggling. You know, you can see. When a document is yours, you can see, because it flows. But when a document is borrowed, when you borrow somebody's underwear, you feel uncomfortable putting it on. But when it is yours, you are comfortable putting it because you know it's clean, correct?
Yes.
But when it's not yours, you are a bit uneasy. So I would say that it's the same attempt Ruku, who is now cabinet secretary, tried to introduce in 2014. Assembly's bill or something to that nature. It is the same. You can see it's taking the same line, same angle.
Yes.
Jed, it cannot work. It cannot work. What we need to do is to have a robust discussion with the citizens, particularly the youth. People are 40 and less. They're about 75% of the population. We need to have a robust discussion and come up with laws and strategies that will address this issue. Because they're the most affected. They are the majority. We cannot have a minority formulating laws and strategies for the majority without getting suggestions from the majority.
Yes.
Because these things that you are suggesting are for the majority. And if the majority reject them, they will not work. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter whether you say you love somebody. It does not matter, Jed. Whether you love the person or not.
Yes.
Whether you're doing it because you love the person, it does not matter, Jed. What matters is that you are addressing matters in a very systematic way, in a very organized, in a professional way, in a manner that you will get a buy-in from the majority. But when there's no buy-in from the majority, Jed, it does not matter what you do. Have they consulted legal experts to see whether the proposed bill is in sync with the Constitution? Have they? I doubt. They are trying to force through, saying, we are parliament. In fact, I heard some of them saying, we are parliament and we're going to pass these laws. We have a constitution.
That the law-making body, so they say they will just pass.
If they are repugnant and inconsistent with the constitution, Jed, we shall reject them. Whether they are passed in parliament or not, they will be rejected in total.
By the people.
By the people. Article 1.
Can we restore
Article
faith?
1.
Can we restore faith in
Let
this
me
government?
say,
Finally, as a final question.
No,
yes.
Jed. Dialogue, 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 and dialogue. So this parliament must ask itself very, very pertinent questions. That the laws that they're coming in, are they in sync with the Constitution? But finally, yet on that particular matter, every time something happens, there must be a team, both from civil society, from business community, from government, that will sit down and assess the impact. Okay? How did this action affect the society, the community? How negative was it? How best can it be handled in future? How can you avoid it even? Because preemptive measures are better than reactory measures. Stop things from happening, not by force, but by coercion. You engage, you discuss with people. People are civil. If you treat them in a civil manner, they'll behave in a civil manner. But if you apply force, like they're trying to come with this draconian law, which is repugnant and inconsistent with the Constitution, it will be rejected. And I want to tell the likes of Pasaris, okay? I want to tell the likes of Pasaris that, that it cannot work. Highways work. Highways make, and we shall reject. And that is our job, to reject draconian laws.
Let me ask you.
Washindwe kabisa, my friend.
Finally, can something be done to enhance inclusivity or even restore faith in this Kenya government? Is there something that can be done? Because you're talking about all these measures that can actually safeguard and help this country, but can people actually have faith again in this government?
One, open, transparent, and youth engagement. They're the majority. Engage them in a very truthful manner. And by the way, these youth are very reasonable because they're intelligent. They're more intelligent than we. Most of these people are not intelligent. Most of them are buretu, useless fellows. Okay? In fact, they fear engaging the youth because the youth are more intelligent. So, the only thing they can say, I'm an MP, I'm a minister. So what? The bloody hell, you're just a minister by chance. You're just an MP there because you're bure, not because you have any intellect. But you fear engaging the, please, Jed, let them just engage you people. Bring you around it. They should not fear you. You are smart, yes, but you are respectful. What the youth are asking for, please engage us. Listen to us. We have some ideas that we can share. Then you're using the experience, because experience cannot be bought from a university. We shall marry your experience and our aspirations, and we come out with sound and better solutions. The other thing, Jed, we must come up with radical measures that deal with bad governance and corruption. They must be radical. This government is, when you talk about corruption, they talk from the side lip. Yeah? Yeah? They talk from the side lip. They can never talk straight. They cannot even talk, when they talk about corruption, they cannot look at you in the face. Now, these issues of poor governance and corruption must be we must engage. And we must be honest and say, you know what, it is painful to deal with this thing. This dragon has been there for long. But we have intentions of dealing with this thing once and for all, and we're going to do it so that we have an equal society. There's everything for us to share. That there's enough. There's actually enough for us to share, so long as we're not greedy. The problem is that the level of greed of these people is so high. Their appetite for corruption and embezzling public funds is so high. And that's where there's a problem, Jed. That's where the problem. The other thing, of course, is we need now to really invest in civic education and even just, digital democracy. Okay? Because civic education has been there from the times of Matiba, Martha Karua, and Mogama, and what have you, people there before. But times are changing, and they're changing so rapidly. So we need to come up with a curriculum, even right from school, on civic education, your civic rights, your responsibility as a citizen. We must start loving this country. We must start, owning this country, because it's our country. Right now, they say we don't care. We don't have a country. There's nothing to lose. You see, that's a very dangerous place to be in. So these things, this ethical behavior, being right, doing the right things, needs to start at a very early age. So we must invest very heavily. Start investing. That curriculum may not be relevant to us, but it's relevant to you. Our job is to create resources, to create an environment that will encourage that to thrive, that will ensure that happens. Digital democracy, caricature, and what have you. Don't get annoyed. If you cannot survive in this environment of digital democracy, hammer Kenya, or shoot yourself. Go and meet the creator, because you cannot survive, Jen. This country belongs to the youth. This country belongs to 75% of Alpha, millennials, Gen Z. It belongs to these people. 75%. Wewe kama umeshindwa, when you cannot, embrace digital democracy, and you are getting so annoyed that they have written some caricature, they have written some story. This is their time. This is what they are doing. Now, when utahama Kenya, not our youth, where utahama, whether you like it or not, uhame Kenya or shoot yourself and go to hell. Shoot yourself. Kwenda kabisa.
Well, what a conversation here with Philip Kisia, a leadership and governance expert, says if you can't survive this digital era, where ndio utaenda? The youth are on their time. Just as always, final remarks as we are heading over to this SABASABA Monday.
SABASABA is here. SABASABA is
here.
It's WANTAM. But look for these videos.
Yes.
There are two quick videos I want to look at. The one, the youth goons had blocked the Kisumu-Kakamega highway, goons, with the help of the police, and you can see in the video. Look for the other video where this young girl, Wanjiko, was being released from Kiambu law courts. Look for those videos.
You cannot force us to join UDA. We are going to stay in the parties that we want to stay in. Na tunajua sababu ya wewe kushika Wanjiko Thega ni kwa sababu chama yako hakuna mtu anataka kukua huko kama Gen Z. All the Gen Z have left your parties to other parties where their issues are going to be addressed. And we want to tell Kasongo and that regime of yours, Monday, bado mapambano. Bado mapambano on Monday. We are going to go for SABASABA. Kama unataka kutushika utushike leo, lakini Monday asubuhi saa 2 utuachilie. We will be going on the streets again for the SABASABA. And I want to tell those parliamentarians who think that we demonstrate because we have nothing else that we can do. Tunataka kuambia power is transient.
Two videos we're ending up the week with. We're seeing youth blocking roads and youth also telling Ruto that things must change.
Kisumu Kakamega Highway, goons with the help of police, barricaded, burning tires on our infrastructure. But they are overpowered by the forces of change. Cleared. And the police are there. Cleared. Okay? And then in the other video, the youth are in court in solidarity with Wanjiko. And they are bursting into song. You can see, the energy. You can see the hope. Look at this youth. And they should tell you something.
Yes.
Wewe ndio utahama Kenya. Those youth are not about wewe ndio utahama. Na utahama, upende usipende, utahama hii Kenya. Those youth are going nowhere. I'm telling you. Those youth are so determined. They have a resolve to change this country. They are determined and they are unstoppable. Jed, they are unstoppable. Those in power should engage the youth and find solutions. But if they think they're going to hang on power using state machinery, watahama.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation on Philip Kisia. Scripted says the truth as he says it, doesn't mince his words. Goodbye for now.
What gives him the idea that he can do as he wishes? This is not his personal house. This is not for going. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.